If they don't have Ty Washington, I do not think this team is a national championship contender. Is Providence a little bit fraudulent? I think Ben Simmons has trouble getting criticized.
Welcome to the Jboy Show, hosted by Jake Crane.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you guys for joining us on a Wednesday. We're almost to the weekend. A ton of college basketball to cover today. Got a great show planned for you. As usual, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and to quote one of the greatest songs of the 21st century, you can tell everybody. Joined as usual by David Cohn, my brother Blaine Crane as well. We're going to dive into the schematics, kind of what went down yesterday in some of the biggest games, Kentucky, Tennessee, Villanova, Providence. The dunk was absolutely nuts last night. But I want to start off by talking about this Kentucky team. They're a team we know that is very talented. I think this is one of the most complete teams, balance-wise, that Coach Cal has had. Jboy on the inside. We know their guards, what they can do defensively. But is this team a legit national championship contender if Ty Washington can't play? Ty is a little bit different. He's more multiple, he's more versatile than any scorer I think Kentucky has. Oscar Jboy, for obvious reasons, he's a post player. He isn't a guy that's going to go out there and hit the three. He's got a decent mid-range, but not a guy you're going to count on outside of getting rebounds, putbacks, backing guys down with his back to the basket, hook shots, stuff like that. Kellen Grady, we know, is a masterful three-point shooter. Hasn't been great as of late, including last night against Tennessee. He went 2 of 9, including hitting one late. He's lethal in transition from three, as we've mentioned. But he's somewhat more of a one-trick pony than Ty. Sahvir Wheeler, we know, is the orchestrator and not a guy you want taking a ton of shots. He's really good going left on the drive, going right, meh, shooting threes, meh. He got hot the other night, but he's not a guy you want to rely on when you get to the tournament. Ty is their Thomas Edison. He's their inventor. He's their Walt Disney. He's their Pixar. He is the guy that can create when they need a bucket, whether it be on the drive, whether it be driving and kicking, whether it be hitting a wide open three, a step back three, a three in transition, a three coming off a screen, off a set play. He can do it all. But he has been injured in key moments, and I hate it for the kid. He's not faking it. This isn't somebody that's taking himself out. But if you look and listen to the way Cal handled it yesterday, talked about after the game, he probably shouldn't have played Ty. He asked him. Ty is a competitor. He's going to tell you he can play. But if you watched how he re-injured it, it looks to me like there is a good chance that he's not going to be ready for a decent amount of time, and you're running out of time as we approach the NCAA tournament. We're halfway through February. We just got through the Super Bowl and Valentine's Day. And if Kentucky does not have Ty Washington, I know Davion Mintz is really good coming off the bench. He can do multiple things. We know what Toppin can do. But Ty is a different breed of player than really what else Kentucky has. And if they don't have him, if they're in a rock fight, if the threes aren't falling, if Savir's not able to create for other people in multiple places, whether it be in the post, the front court, the back court, it doesn't matter. I don't think this Kentucky team is a team that can win a national championship. You need every piece. You need to be healthy and you need to be hot. Those are the two things you need going into the tournament. And if they don't have him, they are going to run into somebody that turns it into a lower scoring game, maybe slows the pace down, the threes aren't falling, and when it comes down to it in those last 2 or 3 minutes, or when you're in a stretch where they're on a 9-0 run to get back in the game or get ahead, and you need a guy to make that contested three. You need a guy to go get the and one. You need a guy that can handle the ball and shoot the rock. Ty is that guy. And I don't know if he is going to be able to put multiple games together. Because remember, the NCAA tournament, I'm not talking about the conference tournament, the NCAA tournament is played in 3-game increments or 3-day increments, and then you get a week off. You play on a Friday, you're going to play on a Sunday. You play on a Saturday, you're going to play on a Monday. So it's not, all right, it's 1 game, then a 4-day turnaround, or it's 1 game, then it's a week after that. It comes at you very fast and very physical in the NCAA tournament. So as good as I think Kentucky is, as balanced and well-rounded as a team that I believe Kentucky is, if they don't have Ty Washington, I do not think this team is a national championship contender. Gentlemen, welcome in.
How you doing?
How are you doing?
I'm great,
How
man.
you doing?
I've been asking myself 2 questions since Kentucky lost to Auburn a couple Saturdays ago. One, Can Ty Washington stay healthy throughout the grueling schedule of an NCAA tournament? I'm starting to believe the answer to that question is no. Not for every single game, not how they would need him to. The second one is, okay, without him, with or without him sparingly or without him completely, can Kentucky be a Final Four team? I'm starting to believe the answer to that question is no. Okay, especially when you consider that Wheeler is getting banged up in a lot of these games as well. And as talented and as consistent as Jboy is, I just think there are too many other great big men around the country that they would run into. Obviously this is seeding dependent, right? We'll have to, everything we say today depends on what the seeding is. But I believe in Kentucky less and less the more that I watch them without Ty Washington.
Blaine, I want to throw this at you, but before you kind of dive in. This is not an indictment on Kentucky because of last night.
Yeah.
Sometimes games just happen like that in basketball, especially college basketball. So I don't want people to think we're sitting here saying Kentucky isn't a very talented team when they're fully healthy. But it would be totally missing the point if you don't understand. You take away your most dynamic scorer, which that's who Ty Washington is, then you really find out. You take away a Chumo Kiki, from Auburn, getting to the Final Four. Before we dive into the schematics of it, your thoughts without Ty, is this Kentucky team a national championship team?
No, I don't think they are. And the thing about it with Ty, it's a knee, I believe. Knees and shoulders, that's what gets you. And Ty's a top 15 pick in the NBA. Projected top 15 pick in the NBA draft right now. I think he's the best player on Kentucky. I think he's the most important player on Kentucky. Because if you have a guy, realistically, if you look at this team, he's the guy who's going to get you a bucket.
Yeah.
That's the guy. And you rely on Oscar to just go get you. Oscar's going to get his, but I don't think Oscar's going to win you games to where you have to put points on the board. Wheeler, he's a pace guy. He's a pass guy. He's not going to go get you a bucket. Grady, you saw what Tennessee was doing, getting him off his spot. Right? Get him off. You want Grady to shoot while he's moving, right? And you look at Grady, Mintz, and Brooks Jr., they combined for almost 7 for 30 against Tennessee. I know Ty's, I think, the most important guy on their team to go get in the bucket. And Oscar's going to do what Oscar does. But if those three guys for Kentucky don't show up and you face a Tennessee team that, gave it up on the boards, I think they lost the boards by 10, but shot almost 48% from three and moved Oscar out of the paint. Without Ty, Kentucky's not a team that can catch up to people shooting well.
Yeah.
That's what you run into in the tournament.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because it's not, if it was a one-off, if it was, a bowl game or even 2 games like we have in college football, it's a different story. But you have to go through multiple rounds. I mean, the round of 64, the round of 32, the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, the Final Four, then the National Championship. The odds are telling you, it's like in craps, the more times you roll the dice, the more likely it is something bad's going to happen. Or you're not going to do well. College basketball is the same way. You're going to have those nights where the shots aren't falling, where Grady isn't hitting. Who is the guy that you go to in those moments when you're in the timeout and the coach is over there saying, all right, I'm going to draw up the play. We're going to our walk-in bucket. That's what Ty is. He can pull up on the mid-range. He can drive and score, drive and finish, hit the and one. He can shoot the 3 in transition, the contested 3, like I said. He is kind of your Swiss Army knife from a scoring standpoint. So you take that guy off of any team, you're going to be in trouble. That's where you look at a Davion Mintz. You've got to play way above your head, but way above what they've asked you to play. So Grady, I think, is going to be fine, but you can't rely on that every night. It's a three-pointer. The greatest three-point shooters, Steph Curry has off nights.
Sure.
That's just part of it. The 3-and-D strategy, that's why you got to be able to win in what? We say it every day.
Multiple ways.
Multiple ways.
Yeah. I don't want Kentucky fans to be too disheartened because they're still a great basketball team, but the fact remains, here's something that they're going to have to consider. And you saw Coach Calipari having to deal with it even last night, okay, is that if you continue to play Ty Washington, even when he's not 100%, then he won't get to 100% before the tournament. The inverse of that, though, if you let him rest because you do have time, hoping that he will be 100% by the time the tournament starts, then you've missed 2 or 3 weeks of momentum building where other teams across the country can say, hey, we're full steam ahead. We went into our conference tournament as underdogs. We won that thing. And by the time you meet up with them and say the Sweet 16 or even the second round, one of them could punch you in the face even with a healthy team because they've built the momentum.
And I can see that way of thinking. I think there's multiple ways to look at it. If you're Coach Cal, do you say, you know what, let's shut him down into the NCAA tournament? You're in. you know you're in. Do we give these other guys time to get used to playing without him and see if another guy can step into that role a little bit more or get used to it? And then if he's fine by the tournament, great. You throw him back in there. Ty's not a hard guy to play with.
Sure.
You know, so I think if you're Coach Cal, shut him down until the tournament.
I agree.
Shut him down until the tournament. You're at 3 losses now. You still got to go to Bud Walton Arena. You need those guys to be able to continue to play together without him to try and formulate some sort of a plan where if he plays, you never know, and I don't want to jinx him, knock on wood, whatever you want to do, you know, pick up an Irish leaf, is that what happens if he plays in the first NCAA tournament game and then goes down? And now you don't want to say, all right, well, we pushed him to the limit, he re-injured it again, and now we've got to play in the tournament without him, without having that experience that we could have garnered the weeks before. But I want to jump into the schematics of this because there was a lot of great games last night. We'll start with Kentucky and Tennessee. Ty, we know when he went out, that changed the game a little bit. But Tennessee last night, to me, if Ziegler plays like that, because he's not an offensive powerhouse. He had 14, hit a couple timely threes, was good on the drive, kind of was the maestro of the deal last night. But if Ziegler and Fulkerson play like that, Tennessee is really scary.
Yeah.
They are really scary.
I thought Fulkerson played his best game.
Looked like a different guy. Looked like the guy they thought they were going to get.
He looked comfortable. It looked like he belonged on the court and played the way he was supposed to play. And I love what they did with Oscar. They just ran Oscar. They got him out of the paint. They kept him moving. Oscar got in foul trouble early. All right, and that's fine. But, you look at Kenny Chandler, you look at Ziegler, they couldn't stay in front of him.
Chandler's got a little Jared
They
Harden.
couldn't stay in front of him, right? And the moment wasn't too big for Tennessee. I know they're at home. I'm pretty sure they're undefeated this year at home. But, they gave up the boards. I kind of hit on this the last show. Pick your poison. All right, pick your poison. You're going to give up the boards. If you're going to give up the boards, you have to shoot well.
Yeah.
And what did they do? They gave up the boards, got out-rebounded by 10, but they shot 47% from 3, right? And that matters. And you go look, Fulkerson had 14 and 9 boards, right, against Oscar. And you go, it was physical all day, and nothing for Oscar was easy.
And if you can keep it even down low with Kentucky, you will take that all day. You'll take it all day. I like that. I know Kentucky didn't shoot it great from the 2, and it's funny watching Kentucky. We always hear about the 3-and-D strategy, and mid-range shots aren't good shots, or long twos aren't good shots. If you look at Kentucky, they've had a ton of success this year shooting the mid-range shot. They kind of Justin Timberlake did. They brought sexy back a little bit from the mid-range, but when that's not falling, and you tend to. When you look at Oscar, we know what he is. And he struggled. I've never seen him get blocked that many times. I mean, he was getting a block, getting it back, getting blocked, getting it back, getting a rebound, getting blocked. But it was an off night for Kentucky shooting. I don't expect him to be like that the whole way. But were you surprised, Cone, watching Tennessee? How good do you think this Tennessee team is when they're playing good?
I think they're better than I thought they were a couple weeks ago, and not only their talent level, but the aggression. Yeah. I mean, like you said, Ziegler was getting to the basket at will. They couldn't keep him in front of him. Now, again, this is another example of how difficult it is to win on the road. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's why we're saying we don't want to beat up on Kentucky here. Like, it's hard to go beat a good team, which Tennessee is, on the road. Yeah. I have less reservations about the fact that they just lost an away SEC game in February than I do about the health of Ty Washington.
Yeah, that's a much bigger deal.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a much bigger deal. We know this Kentucky team is really talented. Another game that was huge, the Dunkin' Donuts Center, Providence in Villanova last night. Hell of a game.
Wow.
All the way through. Villanova came out hot. Justin Moore couldn't miss. I think he had 18 in the first half. I mean, he was hitting everything he threw up. But Providence, to me, and look, shot selection, a lot of teams take a lot of bad shots. But Providence, whether it was turnovers, and I know Villanova was uncharacteristic in the turnover, and we're going to get into Colin Gillespie. He dropped 33, Haru, the great white ninja that is Colin Gillespie. But Providence, and I know they got some good wins, that they beat Tech, and I've watched them play a lot. And I actually liked them on the 4.5 last night, plus 4.5. Is Providence a little bit fraudulent? Do you think that they're a little bit fraudulent? Because if they continue to take shots like that, and Reeves hit some shots the Globetrotters would have winced at that he took. But this Providence team, and I think Ed Cooley's done a really good job, but they missed a huge opportunity last night. Didn't play. The defensive lapses at the end of the game. I mean, you give up a full court pass because you just didn't guard the guy. You literally guard the wrong person and leave the one guy that they're probably going to lock up because he murdered you the whole night I mean, it was a mystery on the Orient Express situation at the end. How do you not know who's been murdering you? You just found out at the end it was Colin Gillespie.
It's communication. That's what it comes down to. It's communication. Yeah. And you look at this Villanova team. I'm telling you. I mean, they go as Gillespie goes, but more.
They got some pieces.
And I'm talking. They're older guards. And what makes runs in the tournament?
Yeah.
Older guards. And I mean, they lean on the three. I think too much, in my opinion.
But they don't have a big man.
But they're good at it. I mean, they shot 50%.
Dixon's scrappy as hell.
They shot
inside.
50% from the field and 47% from three.
47%, and Providence shot 22%.
And the craziest stat, Villanova is the best free throw shooting team in the country. And all the college basketball fans out there that know college basketball, this stat's going to blow your mind a little bit. Villanova, and they didn't shoot it great from the line last night.
I would say bad performances.
Yeah, coming into that game as a team, 82% from the free throw.
I'd heard that average. I would heard that.
I would heard it. I would heard it terrible.
Man, these teams were so evenly matched last night. What a great game to watch. And I was excited to see. I came out more bullish on Villanova after this game for sure, and it wasn't just the win. It wasn't just the win. It was like, man, when you watch Dante DiVincenzo, I meant Colin Gillespie.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get him confused watching him play. I mean, he's just incredible, and it's not just the scoring; it's that leadership. Doesn't he come off as like that just quintessential college basketball?
They had a great
leader?
line last night. They're like, is he a 6'2" guard? Is he a 6'2" center that shoots threes, or is he a 6'2" guard that can
He's
post
posting
up?
them up.
He can do a little bit of everything. He's got that nuance. He's got the Welcome to the Y and the And One mixtape tour combined,
with the high socks,
which is with the high socks. Never sleep on a guy in high socks in college basketball. I'm just telling you. But Jay Wright is so good at getting his teams to play to the identity that he wants. Every Villanova team is the same. It's like this and they all stay for 9 years.
Yeah,
it's like they're there for 9 years, and they're so good in the tournament. And we can talk about playing hard, but a washing machine plays hard. You have to be able to play hard and be effective. They're scrappy. I know they turned it over a lot more than they did last night. They had a few lapses that surprised me, but they're really consistent. And in any college sport, what's the two hardest things? Stability and consistency. Villanova really has that. You're running a very similar system. Those guys have been in it for a while. I do question. Nate Watson still got his, and Blaine, the center for Providence, was basically like Snorlax. They played
he's the biggest guy on the court by like 4 inches.
Yeah.
Right? And I go back and look at Providence's game plan. They came out and pressed in the first half, a little half-court press. I didn't like that. That's why well, first of all, you're playing against Gillespie. He's going to know how to beat that. You're playing against Moore, and that gives up what? It gives up threes. That's what if they break it gives up threes.
And that's Villanova's game.
And you saw Moore, right? Just beating that. Gillespie found him. Boom, hit a pick, splash.
To the water park.
And they got out of it. And then you look kind of what they try to do with Nate Watson. And I really don't think they knew what to do or how to get him the ball correctly because he got his, but he could have got a lot more.
They could have
because he didn't have position. They weren't swinging the ball, right? And they went 5 for 23 and threes. And the 5 that they made, I can't believe they made.
Yeah,
they were pulling from way NBA range.
See, and I want to move on after this, but that's what Villanova does. They are going to make you have to be efficient in all areas. At the free throw line, defensively, rebounding with boxing out, closing out, guys getting to the glass, defending in transition, shooting the three well, not turning the ball over. They make you have to play well in almost every facet. And the more you do that, the more you make teams have to play well in every facet. We know a lot of teams are one-trick ponies. They can really do one thing, maybe two things well. And there's going to be that one thing that they struggle with. Maybe it's free throws one night. Maybe it's a three-pointer the other night. Maybe it's a mix of three-pointers and turnovers. So again, it's the consistency argument. Villanova is like the girl at the bar that's a 7 with a great personality. Just consistent as hell. You're not going to win Miss America or Miss Universe, but you're consistent as hell. And that's what wins when you're good enough, when you're able to knock down shots. So that's what Villanova is to me. And I just love, Jay Wright, kind of the way he goes about things. He never really panics. He's kind of just, like his teams are. He's like, I'm going to be
It's going to be a dangerous team in the tournament, man.
You don't want to see him in March. You never want to see Villanova in March. And what's crazy, I never met anybody in my life that has gone to Villanova or Providence. Maybe it's from where I grew up, but I've never been like, hey, man, what's up? Oh, where do you go? Oh, you went to Villanova. That's sweet. How's it up there? No idea. But we need to go to the Duncan Center because it was nuts.
It was really cool.
When you have the student section treating Taylor Swift like it's a Def Leppard concert going that crazy. Since they let them in 2 hours before the game, it was a great basketball environment. But I do want to move on. Cone, what's next on the docket?
Hey, we each took 4 teams, our top 4 teams, and ranked them. You want to get to that?
Yeah, let's get to that. Let's get to that, and I want to bounce. I want to talk a little bit about Florida and Mike White too here in a second.
Okay, from last night.
Yeah,
you want to do that first?
Let's do that first, and then
okay.
Let's get to the top 4.
Okay, go ahead.
Top 4. So, if you've been keeping up with bracketology, Florida's been on the first 4 out. Needed this one at A&M. Castleton's back. Mike White, seat was hot coming into the year. Okay, and Mike White, I know he's a great guy, but there's an old saying in coaching, sometimes great guys get you fired. That's just it. You got to be a great guy that wins. Mm-hmm. Be great at winning and a great guy. Watching the way Florida came out in that game last night, they looked uninspired to me. You had 8 points with 5 minutes to go in the first half. I understand if shots aren't falling, but that's egregious. And you caught up and still should have won. But how do you come out lackadaisical with everything on the line? Because you win that game at A&M, you got number 2 Auburn coming in Saturday. Mm-hmm. What a better boost to get you off that exterior of the bubble. You'll pull a Jake Gyllenhaal and be the bubble boy, just get inside the bubble, than to be able to win this game at A&M, who started out 4-0 in the SEC, went Thelma and Louise, flew off the cliff for 0-8. Now they're 1-9 in their last 10. Or 1-8 in their last 9, excuse me. But when I looked at how uninspired Florida was, that surprised me the most. Because there's been times where I've watched Florida, balls to the wall, playing their guts out. But to me, I'm really starting to question Mike White's ability to motivate this team to play. If you played your heart out and you lose because A&M played really well, shot really well, just outperformed you, that's one thing for the whole game. But there is no excuse in my mind that for Florida to come out lackadaisical like that. And the way it's looking right now, I think Tom Crean might as well be Crean Corn. He's gone. Quanzo Martin, Gonzo the Clown, in my opinion, with the way Missouri's playing. And now Mike White, it's fading to black, man. Your career at Florida is fading to black.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
It's not.
You got Auburn, then you got Arkansas. You got Georgia, maybe. All right, then you got Vanderbilt. Hey, and let's finish it off. Let's play Kentucky.
Yeah. Let's end the season on a low note.
The gauntlet.
Yeah, you lost to Texas A&M team who just got killed by Auburn. They shot 2 from 18 from 3 against you, and you still lost. And Castleton's going to get. I think Castleton's a phenomenal player.
Look, he looks just like Jim Carrey off Me, Myself, and Irene, but he's really nice. I know Jim Carrey's not.
Yeah, I think. Appleby just didn't show up in this game. He went
well, if you watch the effort to go get rebounds. Look, sometimes, like I said, the shots aren't falling, but getting offensive rebounds and putbacks, getting offensive rebounds, getting fouls, getting defensive rebounds, running out and getting fouled. Florida wasn't doing the little things early to be able to get a lead on A&M because A&M didn't play great. A&M's not a great shooting team. And Buzz Williams probably said one of the top 3 dumbest things I've ever heard a coach say after a game. This is a legitimate quote. I want to give a shout out to Billy Lucci and our friends at TexAgs. This is what Buzz Williams said. We don't have the best players, probably because I'm not the best recruiter as a head coach, but I'm their biggest cheerleader. You just insulted everybody. It's different if you say, you know what, I didn't coach a good game. Or something in that vein. But you just told the players they're not that good. You told everybody at A&M, you're not that good of a recruiter, but you're a great cheerleader. You know what they call people that aren't good coaches, aren't good recruiters, but are good rah-rah people? They call them, those are cheerleaders.
Yeah.
That's what that is. So Buzz Williams, if you're going to say that,
I was going to say,
why don't you go get some pom-poms, a megaphone, go over the sideline, and sweat enough to flood the Nile. So to me, is that one of the dumbest things you've ever heard a head coach say?
That's top 3. I'd really have to go back and look.
Why would you say that?
Some dumb things that's been said. But man, you just insulted everybody at the same time, including yourself.
Yeah.
They're going to come out fired up at practice.
They are. Wow, I really want to go fire the guy who's like, listen, hey, don't tell anybody. We're not that good.
Their PR guys just right when he said their PR guy.
Yeah, cut it off.
After a win too, right?
After a win.
Y'all aren't that great.
It's look, guys, we're not good. We're not great. We're pretty bad. I'm not really good at my job, but I love you guys.
Listen, you see everybody in this room? Not that good. But we love to get excited about being not that good. We hope you are too. But speaking about excited about not being that good, Oklahoma, they have blown more opportunities than a lot of basketball teams I've ever seen in my life. I mean, they've blown a lot of opportunities. You watch kind of the way that game unfolded. Tanner Groves put the invisibility cloak on and disappeared at Hogwarts. Mm-hmm. He tends to do that. And everybody gave him and his brother a lot of love coming over from Eastern Washington. Hey, watch these guys. Goldwire, love his game. Mm-hmm. Love his game. Go to battle with that dude any day of the week with what he does defensively. But Oklahoma, and give Chris Beard and Texas credit, Texas keeps finding a way. Do I think they're the best team, Texas? No. Do I think they're a team that's going to make the Elite Eight? No. Are they a team that scares the hell out of you in multiple ways? No. But they keep finding a way to win, and that's a quality. I mean, that's a great quality to have. But if you're Oklahoma, I mean, is it time to go ahead and turn the lights out? Is the party over?
Oh yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not betting them anymore because sooner or later you have to win a close game.
Yeah.
Especially when you're at home. All right. And I already said it before. I mean, they're a 3-and-D team. That's what they are. They like to shoot the three and they play good defense. Well, you lost it 2 by Texas, and you went 5 for 23 at the 3-point line. You know, at home. I understand that, but these are the games you have to at least win one when it's close. You do.
I get it. I don't think you turn the lights on. Maybe you turn the lights off on them winning the Big 12, winning the Big 12 tournament, But I think the best they can hope for is to sort of find a way in. Just find a way into the tournament, and then cause some havoc.
Well, I mean, it's 14-12 now. What are they in the Big 12 now?
4-9.
4-9. You almost got to win the tournament.
Yeah.
And I know they're on the outside of the bubble. Right? Are they been flirting with it? Are they been actually inside? It's amazing to see some of these teams that are actually in the tournament. But, I mean, Oklahoma better figure it out. How many more opportunities do they have? How many more are you going to have? At home, at least. At home, you don't get to play Kansas anymore. If you played Kansas every week, even though you hadn't beat them, you play your best game against Kansas. So I look at Oklahoma. You know, I think that the house may fall on the witch here soon. I mean, I think it's about over. But before we do move on and preview and do all this, I want to drop our top 4 college basketball teams in the country. Because, you know, to quote...
You got Gonzaga number 1?
To quote Coach Red Bayou from The Waterboy, it's about to get awfully physical around here.
I'll start.
You want to start?
I would love to.
Go ahead.
All right. My number 1's Auburn. I think they have the most complete team, including depth. I believe 5, 6 quadrant 1 wins. I mean, they're 11-1 in SEC play, which I think is the best conference in the nation.
It is. Look at what Tennessee's doing now.
I think it's the best conference in the nation. Yeah. You know, and Auburn's been winning games, and I believe not playing that well.
They haven't played their best. Not shooting well lately at all.
The game versus Arkansas, and the Auburn's losses are games that's only been going into overtime. Yeah. And that's it, right? So I think Auburn
They've only lost once in the United States.
I think Auburn has the most complete team. Including, I think Walker Kessler's one of the best players in the nation. On both.
How do you say he's not the best big man in the country?
On both ends of the court. And my number 2 is going to be Gonzaga. I believe, and I know their conference is terrible, guys. I know this. All right? Yeah, you don't have to sit here and say that to me. I know this. I have eyes. I have ears. But they have beat each team in their conference by 16 points. I know that's not saying a lot, but they have beat Texas by 12.
Okay.
They beat UCLA by 20 and beat Texas Tech by 15. They lost to a Duke team by 3, who was Duke had everybody. They weren't missing anybody. And lost to an Alabama team who we've seen play against.
How much did they lose Alabama by?
I think 9. Is it 9? Who's been playing up to competition and down in competition all year. I mean, they have Chet Holmgren, who's going to be a top 2 pick in my opinion. Drew Timme right now is projected the 45th pick. And Andrew Emhart is projected a 2nd rounder. So, I mean, this is a good basketball team. I think they have one of the best offenses in the nation. I know they don't play anybody, but I do think they will make a run, and I think, 1-5, they're pretty solid. I'm going to go to number 3. I got Arizona. I think they're a good basketball team. It's hard to find their weakness in Arizona. Mm-hmm. All right, they're 11-2 in the first 2 quadrants, which is good. Their losses were at Tennessee and at UCLA. And 1-5, they're solid. It's hard to find a weakness in them, so I'm going to put them at 3. And then I got
a lot of depth too.
Yeah, depth too. I got Kentucky at 4.
Healthy tie-tie, not healthy tie-tie?
Well, if we're going off right now, right? That's what we're doing. We're going off right now.
So not healthy
tie-tie. All right, I got him at 4.
Still.
Yeah, I got him at 4. I think just the ceiling for these guys are super high. With Mintz, with Wheeler. I think Wheeler needs to start playing a lot better. I know he's trying to push the pace, but Wheeler needs to, be careful. You got to quit falling so hard. You got to quit running into screens. Yeah, because if you lose tie-tie and you lose Wheeler,
Night.
I'm sorry, guys. Y'all are done.
Night.
And I feel like Oscar, especially once you get in the tournament, man, I feel like the SEC is just so physical and they're so fast. Once you get in the tournament, things are going to start slowing down for these guys. So I still think Kentucky's going to make a run. I think Ty's probably going to sit until the NCAA tournament. If it's me, I sit him. You're going to be a 1 or 2 seed. Yeah. I sit him, but I think, in my opinion, those are the top 4 teams in the nation.
Conathan?
Want me to go ahead?
Go ahead.
Number 1 for me, I have Arizona. And number 2, I have Auburn, okay? In that order, they're almost interchangeable for me, okay? I think Auburn does have a higher ceiling, but I have it in this order right now because I want to see a little bit larger sample size from Auburn now that Zep Jasper's back, okay? And I want to see Jabari Smith be more aggressive and take more shots. I mean, I want to see him take more shots, but more than that, I want to see him be more aggressive, even if it opens up other things for other players, right? I want to see KD play a little more under control, things like that. I want to see Walker Kessler not change a thing. Yeah. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yourself.
And just they have the highest ceiling to me. Go reach that ceiling, okay?
Would you say Auburn and Arizona are the 2 deepest teams in college basketball? It's hard to argue they're not.
I think so, but I've been critical of playing a lot of the depth at Auburn. I think he's played too much depth, but look, Bruce Pearl's a better basketball coach than I could ever pretend to be if I lived 100 lifetimes. He knows what he's doing, and he's going to laugh at all of us after they win the national championship if that's what happens. But it's February. I think you need to start dialing some of that back. On the Arizona side, steady Eddie. I mean, they're consistent as it comes, and they win in multiple ways. They might as well be like the European national team or something.
It's like a NATO meeting.
Benedict is not.
It's like a NATO meeting. I wonder if Putin's going to invade Arizona.
So for that reason, look, I have Arizona 1, Auburn 2, but I do think Auburn has the higher ceiling. Let's just see. We have a few more weeks. Number 3, I have Purdue. Guys, I'm still very bullish on Purdue. I think Purdue could go win this whole thing. Look, they lost at Michigan by 24, and they followed that up with a win against Maryland at home by 1. Not great, okay? They play tonight. They're on display. I'm going to watch them. Let's just see.
Northwestern tonight, right?
Northwestern, is it at home or away?
It's at Northwestern.
It's at good. Okay, another good test. Let's see, because these last 2 performances, not great. But they still have 2 redwoods down in the post, and I still think that Jaden Ivey could be the best basketball player in this country. I really do believe it. I think they could win it all. They're number 3 for me. And then at 4, so you can go in on both of us, I have Gonzaga. I think you overrank them at 2, but I do have them in the top 4 right now because, like you said, they are a good college basketball team. Are they as good as they were last season? I don't think so, but we'll see. Can they make it as far as they did last season? I don't think so, but let's see. I think the combination of Chet Holmgren, Andrew Nembhard, and Drew Timme is a great combination. And I'll tell you what, for the fans out there who haven't gotten to see a large sample size of Gonzaga yet, Chet Holmgren is not some skinny, lanky kid who just gets some rebounds because he's so tall. He sticks his nose.
He's not afraid. I'll give him that.
I'm telling you, he goes in there. He's aggressive. He's a good player, and it's not just him. Drew Timme's down in that post, a great college basketball player. Can he go bang with Kofi Coburn? I don't know yet. Can he go bang with Jboy and the 2 redwoods at Purdue? I don't know yet. But those 2 guys with Nembhard in the backcourt, I think they're a really good basketball team. They haven't played a lot of great teams, but I have them at the 4 right now because mostly I believe in them more than Kansas, more than Baylor, more than UCLA, and more than Houston. The question becomes, and more than Providence. The question becomes the Dukes, Villanovas, Texas Tech, and maybe like in Illinois. So right now I have them at the 4.
Kentucky in there at all?
Huh?
You have Kentucky in your first 4?
Well, like I said, we talked about Kentucky, so I don't have Kentucky in the first 4. But like I said, when they're complete and if Ty Washington is healthy, then I think that they're a Final Four team. When he's not healthy, I have him at a Sweet 16 team. What are you going to get? Do they meet in the middle at an Elite 8? Yeah. I'm not sure right now. But, I think Jboy, you said he's their most important player. He may be the highest draft pick. I think Jboy is Kentucky's most important player, just like Walker Kessler is for Auburn. So let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, here's what I got. I like that explanation there. I got Auburn at 1, looking at what they have. I mean, they've got all the pieces, and they can win when they don't shoot well. That's another thing. I think that's an attribute. A lot of teams have to shoot well to win. Like we said, it's an obvious thing. But Auburn can get away with not shooting well because defensively they're able to turn you over. We know Walker Kessler could change the light bulbs at Jordan-Hare Stadium. He's so tall. And he's athletic, and he's long. So I've got Auburn at 1. They play Vanderbilt at home tonight. I've got Arizona at 2. When I watch Arizona, they have a different gear that they can kick it into. If you watch some of these games, they've been down early, 12, 15 points. And then all of a sudden, it just like it hits them. It's like a wave, and they just dominate. And do I think the Pac-12 is the greatest conference in basketball? No. But they are running teams out of the gym right now. They're playing their best basketball, but having the ability to have that depth if other guys aren't playing well, or you have injuries or COVID or something like that, but to be able to kick it into another gear. It's one thing to have, a car that you can kick up and you can go fast. It's another thing to be able to turn it into a Lamborghini. Arizona's like a transformer. Oh, you'll see in the garbage truck go down the road. Then all of a sudden you look out and, oh my God, it's fighting Optimus Prime. So when I look at Arizona, being able to kick it into that other gear, being able to, when you're down, flip the script so quick, or get ahead enough to bury people, and then if you have foul trouble, especially in the front court down low with Coloco and all the guys they have down there from spread out all over the globe, I think Arizona has lasting and staying power. They have a lot of answers. They really don't have that many weaknesses, if any at all. So I've got Arizona at number 2. Number 3 to me was, I went back and forth. Love Purdue, and I got him there. I got Purdue at 3. Offensively, Jaden Ivey, he's so much of a witch. He helped capture Hansel and Gretel, but they got away. We talk about Edey down low. Trevion Williams is probably the best big man passer there is, but that's not all they have. Gillis is a really good player. Morton is a good player. They've got other guys that can come up and step up, whether it's Furr or other guys that can score when they need it if maybe a guy's having an off night. Offensively, I don't worry about Purdue. The only thing I question is defensively. And I know Edey's down there that can put Trevion in. They've got size. But Purdue, for some reason, has struggled defensively, whether it's closing out against the 3. They've gotten beat. When you go back and look at their losses, I know they beat Maryland by 1. Yeah. Is what it is. When you go back and look at their losses, there are stretches where they can't stop anybody.
Yep.
And if Edey gets in foul trouble, because Williams is a really good offensive player to me. Defensively, he's kind of, and we know who Edey is. He's 7'4". I mean, he's not a guy that's going to go out there and be able to guard a guy on the perimeter. So if you have a stretch 5, or if you have a team that can run Purdue a little bit, like Blaine was talking about how Tennessee did with Jboy, that's what would worry me about Purdue. But I do like their length. I like their ability. I love them on offense. We've talked about the defense. I've made the Iowa comparisons to Garza last year, but I got Purdue at 3. Now, I've got kind of a 4A and a 4B because Kentucky, with Ty and without Ty, are 2 very different teams to me. With a healthy Ty Washington, I think Kentucky's number 4. And I think they could possibly be higher than that. With Ty and if they're playing at full speed, I would probably have maybe Kentucky at 3 and Purdue at 4. But without Ty, I've got Villanova at number 4. I feel like Villanova, and I'm looking ahead to the tournament really on teams that would scare me, that this isn't a resume top 4 to me. This is going into the tournament, the top 4 teams that would scare the hell out of me. Playing Villanova, the way they play, I talked about the consistency. I'm not going to harp on that anymore. So I've got Auburn, Arizona, Purdue, a healthy Ty, give me Kentucky at 4. Ty not playing, give me Villanova at 4.
Okay.
But you can. That's the great thing about college basketball, too, is you have so many teams. You have a lot of quality teams this year. If you look, is there really that elite team that just is going to wipe everybody? Or maybe the 2 teams that are going to wipe everybody? No, everybody has questions. Auburn's not shooting the ball well from 3 right now. Not shooting the ball well in general. Gonzaga, schedule, they play Pepperdine High School later, and they're going to sell sour straws and canned Cokes at the halftime, when they announce the homecoming queen or whatever. So I think there's a lot of questions on that front. But the cool thing about college basketball is there's so many different ways to look at it. There's teams on here that we didn't put in here. Kansas, do we believe in them? No. Baylor, just saw us every day, John. That's tough. Providence just got beat. So it's going to change. It's going to move. But right now, going into the tournament, these are the 4 teams, you could say 5 teams, depending on how Ty is, that scare the hell out of me if I was having to play him or coach again.
I like it.
Yeah, I do too. The Purdue's going to have to start playing some defense.
They're going to have to. I get it.
I don't think they've won a game when they've scored under 70 points.
Yeah,
any team that loses to Wisconsin, I don't know if I can trust.
And it shouldn't be the case when you have a guy over 7 foot who's great in the post, and you have just as good of another post player who's great on offense.
And you watch Jaden Ivey and Flashes play great defense.
For sure.
And Matt Painter's a really good coach. He's a really good coach. But it still surprised me, like you said, with those pieces they have, that they aren't better defensively. It does. And it's not like you're going to get tired down there.
Well, Edey doesn't move well. He doesn't move well. And you play a team in transition, right? That's why if a Purdue played Kentucky, I think Kentucky beats them by 10, 15 points. Because Kentucky will run Purdue. That's what they
But you know how you stop teams from running, you make baskets. I said this yesterday. Here's what would worry me if I was Purdue. If they had a center that could shoot threes, that was athletic. Jboy can run in transition, but you're not having to come out and guard Jboy.
Like a Hunter Dickinson.
Yeah, like somebody that scares you from the three-point line. Now Edey has to come out, which opens up everything else down low, whether it's the cuts. And if he doesn't come out and you're hitting threes, they're going to bury you. So that to me would scare me more than just the natural transition, because more oftentimes than not, Purdue's going to be scoring. There's going to be very rare occasions
I think James
where Purdue
is
can't put
the
ball.
best offensive player in basketball.
He
I don't
is.
think he's the best overall basketball player, but the best offensive basketball player for sure.
Yeah.
I say let's go to 5 big questions real quick.
Let's go to 5
and
big
then let's incorporate tonight's college basketball matchups with
a little
our
preview?
picks.
I love where your
okay,
head's at.
since we
I
dissected
love
that
where
so
your head's
much.
at
Okay,
right now.
5
What do
big
you mean your
questions.
shoulders and neck have
Let's
in
go to the
common?
NFL first.
I love where your
okay?
head's at. Go ahead.
Let's go to the NFL first. Deshaun Watson is evaluating the Vikings and the Buccaneers as potential landing spots. Do you think he will continue his NFL career, and do these teams make sense?
I think Deshaun will. All the off-the-field stuff, which I don't understand. I just don't understand. It's like, to me, it's like, why don't, for another instance, it's like rich people, celebrities, are famous people that get caught for DUIs. Like, why are you driving? Why are you having to do that?
Who's your friends?
Who's your friends?
Who's your friends?
Who's your friends? And I know Deshaun didn't get a DUI. I don't want to, I got to kind of massage this point a little bit, so I don't want to dive too deep into it. But
See what he did there?
I'll never understand it. But Deshaun Watson's a really good football player.
Oh, yeah.
He is. He's a damn good quarterback. I think he's going to get a shot. You look at a team like the Bucs, like you're talking about, it'd be a good fit. The Vikings, not with Jim Harbaugh now, but the Vikings.
You never know.
You like that fit, Mike?
The best, think about it. Justin Jefferson,
Which?
young. Dalvin Cook, young. Kirk Cousins, please leave. As y'all watch Kirk Cousins in the All-Star, it was bad.
Look, Kirk has done more with less.
Yeah.
Than a lot of people. I mean, sometimes he makes Heineke look like Brett Favre. So
Kirk's the guy in Home Depot who won't leave you alone.
yeah,
That's who Kirk Cousins.
he's like he needs Dr. Rick.
That's not a bad
won't
thing.
leave you alone.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's after
Sometimes
five,
you need help.
after
at Home
5
Depot.
minutes. Yeah, we'll ask for help. Get away from my shoulder. I can feel you breathing on my neck.
Yeah. It's like Brad in produce.
It's a Michigan
Very
State
helpful.
guy. That's a Michigan
Very
State
helpful.
guy for it.
Look, I like the fit at the Bucs better. I like the fit at the Bucs better.
For sure.
Get him down to Tampa. Let Bruce Arians. Now you got a guy. Look, nobody's Tom Brady. So having to follow Tom Brady, that low key sucks. Having to follow Kirk Cousins doesn't suck as much. Not nearly as much.
You got
But
Kyle Traskin waiting down there.
Dude, I'm
Tampa
telling
Bay.
you. Kyle Trask.
He's got some sorcery.
I tell you what.
We'll see.
Hey, a lot of people are sleeping on him. A lot of people are sleeping on him.
All right, so next up here, part A and a part B. The relationship between Ben Simmons and the 76ers was clearly untenable. How much of that was the fault of Simmons, and how much of that was the fault of the organization?
Okay, I want to first off say this.
This is great.
Look, you can talk. We talk about mental health, right? Mental health's a real thing. Hell, we experienced it in our family. But that doesn't mean that you can't not like somebody because of the way they act. Like that's we've got to be able to separate that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I think Ben Simmons has trouble getting criticized.
Okay.
I think he does. I think he's a guy that has been bigger than a lot of people that he's played against. He's been more talented. But he struggles getting criticized. And it's almost impressive that you make it this far in athletics if you struggle getting criticized. And the funny part is, if he doesn't play well in Brooklyn, they're going to give you hell. It's not like you go to Brooklyn and everybody's just super duper excited, even if you don't play good. Come on in, Ben Simmons. So I would put it more on Ben Simmons, and I'm not a Ben Simmons fan. I don't like the way, that he handled it. I don't like, it's one thing if it's over the top, and it's one thing if it's super personal, if you're getting attacked personally. But when they're criticizing, when you're a professional athlete, okay, and you're getting criticized about your performance and not showing up at big moments and big times, that's part of the deal. If everybody got that upset, we'd never have anybody to play. I think Shaquille O'Neal said it best. He said it best. You got to be mentally tough to be able to survive and thrive in this league when it matters the most, too. It's not just, I know he's won Defensive Players of the Year. I get he's a great talent. That's the saddest part in this whole deal. But he has got, to quote the kids nowadays, keep it a stizzy, he's got to get out of his feelings. Go play. Go play. If it doesn't go good and they criticize you, man, you don't have to read the newspapers. Who cares? Who cares?
Maybe he can now with a fresh start.
Well, I think Ben Simmons was that kid growing up who just got everything he wanted.
You think so?
He got everything he wanted, right? The one time he doesn't get, he's like, well, Dad, I want my skateboard at the shop or something like that. He got everything he wanted growing up, and the first time he faced, because LSU, he could do no wrong.
He could do no wrong.
He could do no wrong at LSU. Then you get into the NBA, where you're playing against grown-ups, and I think what Ben Simmons needs to do right now, he needs to find a mentor. That's what he needs to do. He needs to start listening, all right, and stop complaining.
Kyrie?
No, I'd say KD, Kevin Durant.
He needs to listen.
Look, they're going to be good, all right, because they already won off the trade. Seth Curry right now for them is balling at Brooklyn. He's balling. They're going to win off the trade. I still think Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant, we're going to be fine. You can be a little baby off the court and go complain about it. I just need you to play defense and pass it to KD. And if you're getting bullied, you want to know something cool you can do? You're getting bullied online, watch this.
Oh, my God. Well, you fixed it. It's Dr. Phil.
He did it. Let's go to the other side of that trade quickly. James Harden has requested trades from 2 different teams in the past 2 seasons, okay? We highlighted Matt Stafford, the way he handled his time in Detroit, and now he's a Super Bowl champion. Beyond James Harden's physical talent, does he have the mentality that it takes to win a championship?
My thing on James Harden is this, and he's a phenomenal basketball player. But I don't know if he is willing to do the things it takes defensively, rebounding, getting on the floor. Look, everybody loves a nice step back every now and then. We know offense sells tickets regardless of any sport, but to win championships, you as a team, because everybody knows how the NBA is in the playoffs, but to win championships as a team, you have to know your role, yes, but sometimes you have to do things outside of your strengths consistently, boxing out consistently, getting to the rim on rebounds, playing really good defense, taking charges when it matters, doing the little things as a complete basketball player. I don't think James Harden, I think he can play defense. I think he's good enough to do those things. Is he willing to do those things? That's the question for me. So right now, with the way he's been, it's tough for me to say yes to that. It's tough for me outside of just an absolute super team. Now, does it make Joel Embiid a whole hell of a lot better? Yeah. Yeah. But are you bringing enough things to the table when it matters on both sides of the ball? When you look at rebounding, like I said, defense, getting steals, creating havoc. I don't know if James Harden wants to do that. Yeah. And that's my question.
Yeah, that's always been the question. All right, here. I want a yes or no from both of you, okay? Zach Taylor signs a contract extension with the Bengals through 2026. Is this the right move for them?
Yes.
No.
You're not even going to respond.
So what would you just not extend?
I sign for 1 more year.
I thought you said
1 more year.
week. You get 1 more week.
Yeah. I want to see how you do a week.
Show me in the offseason.
Guys. All right.
So you don't want Joe Burrow to have the... Here's the thing. You got to give the man a chance to call plays with a good offensive line. We say it all the time. And listen, I know. And I said it the other day. It's more about personnel than the play call. Should have got Joe Mixon the ball. Okay, the look on Blade's face.
It's just...
hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
All right.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Give the man a chance to call plays with a good offensive line. That's what I want to see. Let him, we know Burrow trusts him. We know he's got a good rapport with them as a team. We know the coaching staff has good rapport. Give him a chance to go get offensive linemen and then see. So by signing these, you just took the Bengals to the Super Bowl.
Right?
Let me say that again. You just took the Bengals to the Super Bowl.
He did? He took them?
He's the head coach.
He took them? He took them?
He the head
Joe
coach.
He
Burrow
did take
He the
them.
head coach.
That's who. Look, before this year, he was going to get fired.
But then what happened?
Joe Burrow somehow
healthy.
Knee didn't break because you have a bunch of high school offensive linemen playing against grown-ups. And what did you do, Jake? Hold on.
That's fine with Coach
What could you
I'd
do?
hate to work
What
for
could
Blaine.
you do?
I'd hate to
What
work
could
for
you
Blaine.
do against a defensive line that is miles better than yours? What would you do? What play calls would you run?
It's tough because your offensive line
What
sucks.
play calls?
Screens.
What play calls would
Screens,
you?
draws,
Screens.
screens,
And draws.
like
You know how many screens got ran in the Super Bowl?
Okay.
0. You know how many draws got ran in the Super Bowl? Twice. You got 10 plus yards on them. Then you quit running them.
So what, should you fire him? Should you have fired him?
You know what? But down the stretch, the play calls that you made when it
you
was
should have
crunch
fired him for
time,
losing the Super
when it was
Bowl by
crunch
3.
time, I could have had a headset on and
All
went
right.
to the Super Bowl.
Another,
I don't believe you.
Another yes or no on the last one here. Baylor football team locks down Dave Aranda through 2029. Will he still be there in 7 seasons? And if so, will they make the college football playoff?
I think Dave's a man of his word. I think Dave is looking. I know you said yes or no.
No.
You didn't say yes or no?
He doesn't take directions.
Dude, do it however
Oh,
you
thank
want.
you.
However you want, man.
Yeah.
Really
Give us the
very
goods.
Zach Taylor-ish of you.
Anyway,
right
Blaine wants to fire Nick Saban for losing the national
give
there. You watch your mouth. I did not
Blaine
say
wants to fire
that.
Nick Saban for losing the national championship. Well, that's the deal. That's it. He had the Heisman winner.
So yeah, Nick's just gone 1 year.
No, I'm just-
1 year. That was it.
No, I'm saying, if you want to use that theory, if you want to use that theory.
First of all, Nick
And
Saban.
then Gonzaga should have fired Mark Few
Nick
last year for
Saban's
losing
watching
to Baylor.
and listening right now, probably because he hears everything. All right, so Nick, I did not say that. Okay,
He's
we're
actually
cool.
out there drinking a Coca-Cola.
Yeah, we're
waiting
cool,
on
Nick.
it.
Don't send people to my house.
You're blasphemies. Anyways, Dave Aranda, I think, is seeing the writing on the wall, right? Texas and Oklahoma are about to bounce house on out of there to the SEC. Texas and Oklahoma, they're going to be gone. You're adding Cincinnati and Houston and UCF. If you look at the Big 12 after Texas and Oklahoma's gone, Baylor has momentum right now. Look at what they just did. They're relevant as hell. They're more relevant than Santa Claus around Christmas time right now. They're recruiting at a really high level. Now you have stability. We know how good of a coach Dave Aranda is. We know how good of he's not the most vibrant personality, but he understands how to build the monster. You build the monster, then you let it outside. That's how it works. Build Frankenstein, want to take over the city, open the front door, he goes and freaks out. So I think Dave Aranda is looking and saying, wait a minute. Texas and Oklahoma are going to the SEC. They're going to be gone. A couple years, maybe even a year, who knows. We're adding these other teams. It's going to take a while to get their foothold. Who are you really freaking out about and scared about in the Big 12 right now? Who?
Yeah, I think
Not Oklahoma State. I'm not freaking out about Oklahoma State. So when you look at what the Big 12, Texas Tech, you scared of Texas Tech right now? No. Who are you scared of going forward in the Big 12? I think Dave Aranda sees an opportunity.
Yeah.
Not that he's ducking anybody. He's going to have tons of jobs. We're going to be talking about Dave Aranda going to places, maybe bigger places than Baylor every year. We heard his name thrown around a lot. But think about how smart this is. You can be king of the castle in the Big 12. Quote Borat.
Yeah.
I think Dave Aranda is living proof that robots can function in today's society.
Why do you say
Living
that?
proof.
Look at him.
Have you ever seen Dave happy?
Ha, ha,
Have you
ha,
ever seen him
ha.
sad?
He is a
Ha.
someone tried it out and they tried it on Baylor and it's worked.
The
Hey,
Arandatron?
real quick, I just want to throw this out there, just real quick. You're safe here. All right. The Bengals offense in the postseason.
Why are we getting back to this?
14 red zone drives, 5 touchdowns, 17% successful play, average 1.7 yards in the postseason. And what did it do? It beat him in the Super Bowl. The only reason they won? One, because of their defense. So yeah, let's give the man the extension. He did a great job.
You know what? You know when you lose the
Go ahead,
argument?
David.
You know when you lose the argument is when you said, yeah, bit him in the Super Bowl.
We
Bit him in the Super Bowl. The hardest game to get to on the planet.
we have 3 minutes.
What's harder? What's harder to get to on the planet? In sports.
You don't
Please
know
tell
about
me.
it. It's in Atlantis.
Please tell
You weren't
me.
invited.
We have
Is
3
this
Underwater
minutes.
basketball championship.
3 minutes. Do you want to make some picks and highlight a game or two tonight?
Yes, I do.
Or do you
Blaine
want to
will
keep?
shut
We
up
can stay
about
on
the
this.
Bengals.
Well, look, Zach Taylor did nothing but hinder the Bengals from playing better than what they should have. When you're in the red zone, who's it on? What's the play calling?
The players
what does it
make
matter?
the plays.
The green zone. It's on the coach.
So how many passes does Zach Taylor throw? It's a combination of the two. Duh. But there's a lot of great play callers that have average players that look like dumb play callers. You don't give somebody an offensive line, it's like not being able to shoot in basketball. Good luck coming up with some stuff with that. Good luck. Best of luck.
When you're in the red zone, okay, how do they get down in there? It was on the players. Players didn't do good to get down in the red zone.
Is it easier to move between the 20s or from the 20 in as a player?
I mean, it depends on the coach.
Why? Depends on the coach.
Calling plays. Are you creative? Are you creative in the red zone? No, you're not. You average 1.5.
Read a book.
You average
can't
1
fire
point.
him
It's a shorter field.
I'm not saying firing him, but quit getting him all the credit when he
I get
did.
it.
Gotta give him all the credit.
You can't fire him after going to the
can't
Super Bowl.
triple step and
You
double
also
stamp,
don't have to
David.
give him a. I get
You
it.
can't triple stamp a double stamp.
Yeah,
Don't
tell
revert.
him.
Don't project.
Do you want to make any picks?
Don't
triple
He's
stamp.
passed up on his
Let's do
picks
some
for
picks.
tonight. No, you passed up on your picks. You want to give a pick?
Wow. See, side you're
Come back
on.
to this thing.
You took up all the time.
Hold on.
Look at Cone.
took up all
Cone's
the
like
time.
Dr. Evil. He's like hits the button and
robot.
on the
Mute.
fire. All right, here we go. I'll start with picks.
Picks?
All right, some good games on tonight. Baylor and Texas Tech. Not going to pick that. Interesting to see how Baylor plays without everyday John. Going down with the ACL,
Yeah,
you hate to
sucks,
see that.
man.
He was one of my favorite players watching college basketball. We got some, pretty goods in the SEC. Alabama hosting Mississippi State. Mississippi State's got to start getting some wins. That one they lost at home to Tennessee, that was Godzilla huge. I mean, that was a big one to lose. They're kind of finding themselves outside of the bubble and need to get back in it. We'll talk about a couple more in a minute. But here's my picks. And I got this early. The Zags are at 31 now. And if you don't believe me, I'll take a picture of my bet when I did this.
He's lying.
Boy.
What'd you get him at?
Anyways,
Continue.
how do you make ricin? Never mind. So I'll take the Zags minus 29.5 against Pepperdine Middle School. They play tonight. I would like to say there's going to be a PTA meeting after the Pepperdine game in the gym. So
St.
make
Mary's.
sure
St.
your
Mary's was
parents are
ranked.
there at Pepperdine. Just make sure.
What's the
there's a PTA
concessions?
meeting
Booster
after.
Club.
What's the
Booster Club.
concessions looking
The
like?
concession, you
Solid?
got sour straws. They've got
Nice.
warheads. They've got
Cool.
some hot and ready pizza. Yeah, that's about it. They got Coke. No more Diet Coke. They ran out. Mr. Fletcher, the science teacher, forgot to reorder.
At least it's
So-
not a.
so
We only have.
Gonzaga, I got
Pepsi.
Gonzaga minus 29.5 against Pepperdine, but it's at minus 31 now. A little bit worried about that. That's a weird number for me. The over 163. If you like it, I think you take it. Gonzaga beat Pepperdine Middle School 117 to 83 last
They
time.
put up 117 last time?
Yes, they put up 117.
a lot.
One of the kids had strep throat for Pepperdine that wasn't able to play. Little Maxie Johnson wasn't able to play.
I hope he's feeling better.
He also had to miss another game because they had a Boy Scout meeting that night and he couldn't miss that.
So you're going all in
Trying to be an
Gonzaga.
Eagles
Good.
All in on Gonzaga.
Yeah, against Pepperdine Middle
huge
School.
Okay, what do you got? Go ahead.
Oh, and I got one more. The Mississippi State Bama under 150.
Okay,
That's a big number.
okay.
That's a big number.
What do you
All
got?
right, so I'm taking Texas Tech minus 1.5 versus Baylor at
I like
home.
this. I like this.
Texas Tech. The only thing that worries me, they've been turning the ball over a lot more than they usually do lately. But I think since they're at home, I think they're kind of dictate the pace. And Baylor just lost a big missing piece, so I'm taking Texas Tech minus 1.5. And I'm taking Vandy plus 13.5 on the road at Auburn. Auburn for the last 6 games has shot under 30% at 3 and haven't shot that well from the free throw line. I feel like Vandy's just a sneaky team that doesn't give up. I feel like this will be an 8 to 10 point
But
game.
you don't think they're going to put Zepp on Pippen and then have Groot down low? What's Vandy's answer for Groot?
Well, the thing about it, Auburn really doesn't
Chris
play.
Pratt, Star
Auburn
Lord
really
gonna
doesn't
run
play
in
to
there
their
and save 'em?
matchups that well. I think.
What'd
They
you
really
say? They'll
don't.
be up by 15. They'll be up by 20.
They'll up by
at some
15,
point.
18. They'll
How about
end up winning.
Auburn will be up, you said. By
Yeah,
what
and
did
then
I
they'll
say?
end up winning by 8 or 9.
Yeah.
I like that 13.5. I feel like it's too many points.
All right, look, I want Rutgers plus 4 versus Illinois, okay? I like Illinois a lot, but Rutgers at home is a problem. You want to give me 4 points? I'll take that.
Rutgers has been a problem in general, but at home you're right there.
Yes, for sure. And then I'm going to take Bama minus 6 at home versus Mississippi State because Shackelford and Quinterly are finally starting to get some help. Bettiako's playing better. Noah Gurley's
JD
playing better.
Davis-
Jelly
J.D.
playing better.
Davidson really got
Texas
tired
football.
of being on the back of the milk carton. He said, Mama, I'm home.
Top 10 pick.
Mama-
They had to call John Walsh to find him.
Well, they did, and he said, Mama, I'm home. Okay, pay attention to me. Let's see if he's just checking in and he goes back to the milk carton. I don't know. Still a turnover problem. But look, I want to take Bama minus 6 at home. Mississippi State's lost 4 of 5.
I like those picks. And I would like to say, it did say Tennessee was going to win yesterday.
Yeah,
But great call in the Providence over, and that was a great call in Ohio State.
Ohio.
Taking Minnesota out back and beating
Ohio.
them up.
Kentucky and Tennessee, you're going to score 139 points.
Oh, yeah, Blaine took the over 140.
139
That was
points.
devastating. I had Providence plus 4.5, and they lost by 5. Ed Cooley, I'll never forgive you. What did I say yesterday? You said, what, they lose by 5? I'll never forgive you, Providence. I'll never bet on you again for anything. You blew it in front of that big crowd that was there singing Taylor Swift. You guys aren't as elite as everybody thinks you are.
What's more scary, like going to a big crowd?
What's
that
more
listens,
scary or what's scarier?
Like hardcore, like maybe like some metal, or like going to a huge crowd and they're banging Taylor Swift and freaking out.
The
second one horrifies me.
The Taylor Swift.
Well, it's like this to me before we leave. Like, it's scary. It's like saying this. What's scarier? Oh no, you walked outside and Jason X is running at you or something like that. Or you walk out in the hallway and 2 8-year-old twin girls are holding hands in dresses that are super pale white singing a song.
Yeah, no.
That scares the hell out. The second one scares the hell out of me. Jason, I know what your intentions are.
Yeah.
You're huge. You're scary as hell. Instant reaction. Seeing the twins that are singing a scary lullaby out in the hallway that are super pale, that is a different flavor of scary because are you here to help me? Are you here to kill me? How could you kill me? That scares the hell out of me.
I agree.
So, great show, guys. Shout out to the Booster Club as usual. Got a great one coming tomorrow. Make sure you watch all the basketball tonight. We're going to break it down like MC Hammer in those parachute pants and like Tom Crean, Quanzo Martin, and probably Mike's White career.
Zach Taylor.
And you always have to do that. You always have to do that. So, like Quanzo Martin should be, let's get you tomorrow, but we're going.